It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight, I thought we'd go over some of the updates that I've got going on. And when I say updates, I mean things that I'm planning to do that I haven't done yet. But tonight, it's Sidetrack Sunday. So in addition to that, I thought maybe at some point we'll do a little bit of a Q&A. So start thinking of questions that you might want to ask me, but I would not, don't post them yet. Hold the questions. We'll get there, but start thinking of any questions you might want to ask me about, I don't know, whatever. Well, it's Sidetrack Sunday. I mean, anything could possibly happen. So let's take a moment, check in, see who's joining us early, and say hello to a few people. Top of the list because he's got a space in front of his YouTube channel name, and for some reason he will not fix it. But we've got Estee Pandy Projects at the top of the list. Almar's joining us. We got Anthony Dodge, The Model Train, Outsider, Jason Barnabas, Junction from over in the UK is here as well. We got Boxcar Jerry, Caboose 121, Roy Hardwick, Containerman, 68, Dave P from DES Media Productions, Devon McKenzie is here. We got James from the Dundas Junction Model Railroad, Rick from the Fultz Bailey Model Railroad, Hot Dog, Pilot 63, Joe Rader in the Black Rock Central, John Binicki, Dwight from the Curly Express, Lauren I can't even say my own dad's name. Lauren Hurwitz is in the house. Lynn McCurdy in the High Desert Modular Model Railroad Club. Mike's Deep Run Railroad is here. Model Train aficionado Chris. Nathan Five Chime joining us. Nisi J. We got Bill from the Ozark, Midland, and Southern Railway. Mike the Rail Artist. Ray Bertelson. Rayron VR the Ice Dragon. Santa Fe Bob is here. John from Schuylkill River Valley. We got Sparkles 107 in the house. We got Stormy Sky Rail Productions. Thomas Grossi. And last on the list, as always, we've got Wig Wag Workshop. Andy says, didn't know I could fix it. You can go and change your name. Holy crap on a cracker. Questions, answers will be here until Tuesday. I don't have any unboxings to do. So, unless you guys ask really difficult questions, I don't think it'll take forever. Anthony, if you have a question, hold on to the question. If I ask a question, will you question? Wait, that's not the right one. What did he say? Oh, I lost the comment. Oh, wait, there we go. If I have a question, if I ask a question, will you question the question that I questioned? 100%. 120%. Yeah, Rusty, when you turn 50, that's when you say BS comments like 50 is the new 40. When I turned 40, I said 40 was the new 50, or new 30. 40 is not the new 50. 40 is the new 30. 30 was the new 20. 20 was the new teenager, and that is how things go. It's just the way it is. There's no way around it. I do have some events coming up that I thought I would mention. Some of them are sort of private events, but they're things that I'm doing that are model railroad related that if people are interested in, let me know, and I will try and talk about them after it happens. So next weekend, I get to operate on the DNS again, which is Phil Manot's layout in the Bronx. It is a fantastic layout to operate on. And on March 26th, I'm going to go operate on the West Island Model Railroad Club. The reason I'm mentioning those two items is because you can operate on those as well. There are two opportunities coming up. Island Ops from April 28th to 30th. You can sign up for, and both Phil and the West Island Model Railroad Club are a part of Island Ops. I believe registration for that is closing soon because I think it's all booked up. But another event that's coming up where you could also operate, and it's a whole weekend event with hotels and clinics and all kinds of stuff, but that is on October 7th and 8th. Isn't it the 5th through the 8th? Andy, a step. What are the dates of the NMRA NER convention? I can't remember. I thought it was the 5th through the 8th NMRA NER convention by the Sunrise Trail Division happening out on Long Island. And those layouts are also on the operations list for that event. So if you want to, yeah, see, you keep saying Columbus Day weekend as if I have any clue when Columbus Day weekend is. None whatsoever. But so yeah, so there are a lot of ops things happening in the area. And while the 19th and the 26th are private events, there are also ways to get there as well. That's what I keep saying too. It's all downhill after 50. The chances of me living past 100, I'd say, are pretty slim. So I would say I'm on the back half. Also on the same weekend as Island Ops, 4/29 through 30th, Robert from Flying Crow and Wilmer from Indian Head Model Railroad will be at the Timonium train show. So if you're in the area, Timonium is in Timonium, Maryland. You can take the train down to Baltimore, and Timonium's not too far from the Baltimore train station, so go down there, check it out, see those guys. Robert doesn't get up to this area very often, so check that out. Nisi, what in the world do you know about hitting 50? Aren't you like 30, 28? You're nowhere near 50. Stop it. May 19th through 21st, actually starting, there's a dinner on the 18th if you come in early, but it's a meet and greet, but it's a just show up and have fun event in Greeley, Colorado. Greeley, Colorado is where the Colorado Model Railroad Museum is located, and there are a lot of different train things to do. Container Man, look on the screen. Are you driving again? Are you driving and watching? Timonium is April 29th and 30th. And then Greeley, Colorado is the 19th and 20th. James, are you saying you're 70? I didn't think you're not 70. There's no way. I know so many people have forgotten what it's like to hit 50, and I'm lucky. I'm just getting there. Memory is gone. Memory is gone. Nisi, I don't believe it for a minute. You can say it all you want, but I don't think just saying it is true. Lynn is saying next year's NMRA convention, so this year's August 21st and 26th is in Grapevine, Texas. The following year, it's out in Long Beach, California. So that's those are two options as well to go see a bunch of layouts. I like the conventions that have the op sessions. I'm becoming a big fan of op sessions and visiting other people's layouts and seeing how other people have set up and how they run their layouts. And I just think it's a lot of fun. So that's the direction I'm heading. And it's the direction I'm kind of investing in, is this kind of operations world, or you know what I'm saying. I think. Maybe not. But anyway, that's what's happening. So yeah, I've got a couple op sessions, and if you want to come and join me in any of those op sessions, come to either Island Ops or come to the NMRA NER convention. I do intend to attend both of those events. What I realize, I do not have on here, do I? How did I get that so wrong? There is something coming up called NERX, and let's get rid of that. Do I not have NERX on this? Anyway, March 20th through 23rd, 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time is NERX. NERX is like NMRA-X. It's on the NMRA.org YouTube channel, as well as on the NMRA Facebook channel. And it will be, a series of events put on by the Northeastern region of the NMRA. The reason, I didn't look at this, 15. Oh, interesting. I have this Boston and Maine RS3 locomotive. One of them is labeled 545 and the other is labeled 154. I didn't realize that it's because the number should be 1545. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, Jason, send the information or post up the information. Absolutely. A new exhibition in the UK for 2024. So yeah, you can always email it to me as well if you want me to add it to the list. But oh, sorry. Actually, email.humancity.org is my email list. I send out a weekly email that you can get, but just heath@humancity.org, you can email me at and send me the information. So back to NERX real quick. The reason I am mentioning NERX is there is a roundtable discussion on the impact of social media in model railroading, and there are several people that we all know that are going to be on that panel. I don't know why I'm doing it. We'll see how it goes. Long story short, I'm gonna be there. We'll see what happens. We'll see how that all goes. But thank you, Mr. Fultz Bailey, with the $3 super sticker, my hero. I don't know why you're saying I'm your hero, but I appreciate the sentiment anyway. NERX is not exactly like Burning Man Split Rock, but you can sit in your own home and take as many drugs as you want, or do any of the other Burning Man type activities from the comfort of your own home and watch NERX on YouTube. So that is a possibility. I guess one other thing, while I'm rambling nonsensically about all kinds of things coming up, and because I don't have any boxes to open, I got to fill time with something. We've been starting a group, I guess you can say, that we're trying to kind of get off the ground. We're calling it Manhattan Modelers, basically a group of us people modeling in small spaces. I think I've mentioned this before, but the reason I'm mentioning it again is we do also have an email list, and we just came out, we just came out with our first newsletter, and I need to update that link. The newsletter's got a hello message from Andy Estep, who is Este Pande Projects, who is the founder of the group. We've got an article from Dan Free about modeling in Manhattan and about sizing down that's kind of interesting. So let me actually post up this link so anybody can read the newsletter on here. Yeah, so Andy had a vision. We want to meet like-minded individuals that have similar constraints, and we're making it happen. We also do have upcoming events listed here as well, and I should probably add these to my events list. New York Society of Model Engineers, that used to be the New York City Modeling Club, which now is in Karlstadt, New Jersey. But they're having some events. Here's NERX. Sunrise Trail Division's having another meet. So we're trying to bring people together, geographically relevant people that have similar struggles with modeling, because as you guys can see, we deal with interesting scenarios. Andy, if you want to chime in on this, I would love to have whoever wants to support the group. I would love to have people support it. It is my intention that when we get together and do events, that we will always have a hybrid option. So we are doing an event on, where is it? We're doing our first meeting on March 18th. We're only going to send out the Zoom invite through the email list. So if you do want to join, it is definitely a way to, support what we're up to. I just posted the link for the main Manhattan Modelers website as well. So if people do want to join, feel free to jump in. Sparky, you've got way too Sparky, you got a big space. Andy says we're very open with an emphasis on dealing with small spaces, but very open. And my take on things, my take on model railroading, my take on why I'm doing this YouTube channel, and I've said this before, but it's very important to me that modeling and model railroading are accessible to as many people as possible. That's why, while you can support the channel, and there are ways to, support it through YouTube, through supporting sponsors and whatnot, I don't have my content behind any sort of paywall because I want everybody to come join and be a part of the conversation. And Andy's pointing out the motto at the top of the page here, representing modelers of all eras, all scales, and all prototypes, but united by the unique characteristics of our space constraints. And I think this is also very relative to a lot of people in the UK as well. A lot of people in Japan, people that are, constrained by, smaller spaces. So Manhattan modelers, it's open to anybody. It's really open to anybody. The idea is that a lot of the events and a lot of the meetings are, an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Manhattan Central. And Andy and I find that a little bit discouraging, especially to new people, that in order to get into the hobby, you have to travel out of the city to these larger spaces to be able to do any modeling. And we really want to have meetings in New York City so that people in New York City can jump on the subway and come visit us without the added trouble of having to travel, long distances and all that sort of stuff. So it's really about, we know there are 8 million people in New York City. We know there's got to be more than 100 modelers. While we are also model railroad based, I'm personally not opposed to just other people that are into modeling, people that model, architectural stuff or Warhammer stuff or anything. We are considering one of the places we want to meet is something called Hex & Co. And one of the events that they have regularly is how to paint miniatures. And it's based around Warhammer miniatures, but it's other, it's interesting stuff. Jason, go to the About page and copy it off the About page, or the other option, Jason, is go down into the description, find the Discord channel, and you can find me on Discord as well. Derek, that would be a lot of fun, right? Setting up modules on a subway car. It's ironic. The amount of trains in the New York City area. You have the subways, you have the PATH train, you have the Long Island Railroad, you have Metro North, you have Amtrak, you have New Jersey Transit. Did I say the PATH train already? There's a lot of trains in this area, so I've got to believe there's more modelers and train fans than we realize. So it's something Andy and I have been talking about a lot, and we just decided to do it. We just wanted to do it. So we did it. We made it happen. Field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. So my goal, do we have a rant? So my goal is that I want to try and get my layout operational. While I don't have the space to have a lot of people over, I definitely have the space to have 2 people over. And I think it would be a lot of fun to have an ops layout, in the city. I talked about on the events page, the Island Ops. One of the layouts on the Island Ops is Vincent Lee's Erie 28. Let's see if I can find it. Vincent Lee Erie 28. Here we go, operationsessions.com. So if you look, if you can see this, if it's big enough, but this is one of the layouts that's on Island Ops. It is out on Long Island. But if you look here, here's a picture of what it is right here. It's a small little switching layout, and he has 1 to 3 operators. It's HO scale, and he's a part of Island Ops, and people come, you know, to operate on his layout. It's the layout that I chose as well. It's one of the layouts that I chose because I like the idea of operating on a small layout. And I feel like with 1 to 3 operators, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to have 1 to 3 operators in here as well, if I can figure out this operations thing. And it's hard. It's hard. Erie 28th was contained on 1 block between 28th and 29th Street. I believe it's was a part of the west side of Manhattan sort of projects at one point in time. Here, I'm just trying to, it's a really cool little, it's a cool little switching layout that he's got here. You know, so it's all just a little switching yard. And I think this would be, like, if I could make this happen in this space here in Manhattan, I think it would be pretty good. Cameron, we're not going to limit the group and say, like, oh, if you have like a room that's smaller than 10 by 10, it's more about people that consider space a constraint on their modeling. So it's not so like if you have a, you know, 20-foot by 20-foot warehouse space of modeling, but you feel like that's a constraint on your modeling, well, you know, I mean, that's, I don't know. One of the things I do want to do, though, I was talking about support and all of that sort of thing. I know, right? We do all want more room. I do want to take a moment and mention the sponsors and the people that do support the channel. As I said, the channel's free. It is my intention to not put content behind a paywall. I believe that by putting the content out there in the world, that will, you know, support me more than, you know, putting stuff behind a paywall. But that's my position, and that's my position because this is a hobby to me. This is not a business. Some people that do put stuff behind a paywall, it's because it's a business for them. Totally different scenario. Do what you want. That said, I do want to say thank you to the people that are supporting the channel.
It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity.
Chris, it's interesting you say this because I do have very high ceilings, but the way I built this out, I do only have 1 level. And it's funny, I've only really kind of operated the layout twice, maybe 3 times. And I kind of almost want to rip it out already because of what I've learned. But I also feel like I should just keep going and get to the next couple of steps. Get to some automated mainline throwing of turnouts, get some, operation scheme going. I'm having a hard time with certain things, and I feel like this layout would be really good to keep going and work out some of those things, but it's operate it 10 times and make changes. Yeah, I know I need to keep going on what I have here. I'm finding the operation stuff just very overwhelming though, and really, really struggling with, how to program the locomotives, what method of operations to use. Do I use switch lists? Do I use JMRI switch lists? Do I use car cards and waybills? Do I do a combination of all of those things? Do I create switch lists and then have car cards, so that people, I don't know. I need help. I know that. I don't know, I just realized too, if anybody's looking, Split Rock Mining Company has merchandise now. So I saw Thomas posting in chat, which made me think about it. Split Rock saying, try handwritten switch list. So here's my issue. I should have a helix. No helixes. No. Here's my issue with handwritten switch lists. There we go. Here's my issue with handwritten switch lists is that I don't know that I know enough about operations to write switch lists. Like, I don't know what a prototypical movement is of a train to know. One thing that I have figured out though, or one thing that I have learned, I've operated on 2 layouts. On OpSig weekend, I'll operate on another 1, 2, 3, 4 layouts. So I'll have 6 different layouts by the end of April that I'll have operated on. I've tried a program called SwitchList. I've tried JMRI. But one thing that I've noticed, the 2 layouts that I've operated on so far, all use car cards, but not necessarily. One's timetable and train order with car cards and waybills. The other just seems to be car cards and waybills, but without timetables. And what I'm trying to say is, I've started making up these. So I've started with the locomotives. I've been trying to figure this out. I haven't programmed all of the locomotives like this yet. I don't even know that this is the order that I want things in, but this is the order that this is a little bit of a common setup, so I'm thinking this might be what I go with. But I started printing these out. See, timetable and train order has nothing to do with spotting and pulling and switching cars. Timetable and train order is just a means of moving trains across the main line. Yeah, so when I did timetable and train order, the timetable told you when you were able to pull out onto the main line, but all of the switching was done with the car cards and waybills. So, yeah. So I made these. I bought these are 2 by 3, I think, maybe, or 2 by 2 3/4 little things that I made, and I'm starting to make these up for the locomotives. I'm going to try and program all of my ESU and TCS decoder setups like this, so they are all the same. Chris, I agree. I wish there was a standard. It would be simple. If you have not seen it, there's a book called the OpSig Compendium, and the book is just a massive book. So it's It's overwhelming. So I took this little sticker and I started, I was like, I got these cards. I guess I can show you. I got these little 2x3 cards. They're not really waybills, but they're cheaper than the waybill stuff you get from like Micromark and stuff. So I was like, okay, I can use these. They've got a hole in them so that I can, attach them together. And I figured, oh, I'll just make my own little car cards by printing stuff out. So I started making a locomotive card that basically had the locomotive number, road name, the type, in big letters, what the DCC thing is, and then what the functions are as kind of a function list. This is kind of a standard list. When these printouts they were 3 inches wide, and it didn't fit the cards very well. So I'm gonna remake this card, but I made these look much better. So this I think is kind of a locomotive card, and my thought is, for now, I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'm going from here, but I think that what I'm going to do is I've got these locomotive cards here, right? So these are the locomotives, and I am going to make up some of these cards. I've got this box here. Let's this box was like $16, and it's got a bunch of different colors on it. So what I think I'm going to do is make up some cards for the box cars, and then what I can do is just kind of like pick out, like, okay, I'm going to use, this locomotive with, these 8 box cars, and just kind of do it. Do it that way. So Split Rock's asking, do the cards have the DCC number on them? So the cab number is the number at the top. The DCC address is the big number in the center. So yes, I did do both, just in case there is ever a situation where they're different. I thought it would be good to have them. If the F functions are different as well, I would just make up a different card. Printing these like this is really cheap. So my thought is, instead of getting the whole Micromark, car cards and waybills, that this will work for me enough for right now. And I think what I'll do is what I'm not sure about is whether I'll use a different color of cards for a different area of the layout. Like, I'll say, okay, all the blue cards are all of the ones that go to the, like the Riverside transfer or something like that. Yeah, so Spoiler saying you could also put the manufacturer on that card and what type of decoder. I was trying to put in small print down at the bottom here what the actual decoder is, but it, unfortunately, then everything was getting a little too small. I might make up I can make up other stuff on the back if I do choose to do that. But I like that these have a little hole, because I've been known to drop the cards. So you can make up a train with a couple cars, connect them together. And this is what it is. This is my attempt. This is my attempt to make it simple. I don't think I'm quite there yet. I don't think this is. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I think I'm getting. I'm generally going in the right direction. I'm just looking at these now, and like my OCD is kicking in, because like here, the DCC 301 is in the center, because it's the whole label. But when I cut off the side of the label, now this is no longer centered. So it's just sort of, I may need to buy some more things. So Derek, I got a whole slew of things in JMRI already. JMRI switch lists works fine. It does work. I just find it can be very, 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 very complicated. Some of your engines do not have dynamic brakes. The S2 would not have that sound. Very interesting. It has a dynamic brake setting, the S2 does, but it might not have settings. Oh, where'd I get the color? It's on Amazon. Let me see if I can find it for everybody. And no Spike Mike, we use it for Fremo. What are you talking about using for Fremo? I'm making the cards just in, these are Avery stickers that I got, Avery size stickers, and Avery makes templates. So you can get different tickets. Let's see. These are flash cards. They are called assorted color blank flash cards. These were $17 for a pack of 1,000 of them. And I thought that would work pretty well. Yes, I could make bigger cards. I didn't want bigger cards. I don't like having big, huge cards that don't like fit in your hands. One of the things that I found when operating is that you will, you'll have to sort through the cards and stuff. And if the cards are too big, I didn't like them. So, James, did I answer your question? It was a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of Avery labels, and I just printed out the label, and then I just stuck the label to the card. So I don't intentionally throw the flashcards around, but I have definitely dropped the cards a few times. So like here, here's the locomotive, here's the 111. So, you can just take the card and leave it with the locomotive, and, if you need to take that locomotive out, you've got the card. Yeah, Steve, that is true. People will tell me it's wrong. But at this point, yeah, I just need to, Chris, thanks. That's neat. Color code car type or one for loco. Yeah, so I have my operations scheme for the layout, right? So I have one industrial area here. I've got the main yard here. I've got the Riverside terminal here. And then I've got another switching area over here. I was thinking of making those different colors. So one of the things that I was thinking of doing, I forgot to turn off the things. So one of the things that I was thinking of doing is that I can make, let's say, all the box cars, I can just make them blue, but then I can use the other colored cards as kind of like the waybills. So I can just sort of search. I can just sort of like flip out 8 cards and then randomly take some colors and just put those colors with those cards and say, okay, that box car goes to the red section. It's a little bit like what Split Rock does with his pins on top of the cars. So yeah, so essentially what I'll do is I'll have some cards that are like a waybill in essence, that aren't necessarily and this is where I guess I get stuck, is that what I don't know is a boxcar can hold anything, right? So like anything on my layout, the boxcar can go anywhere. So I don't want to have one waybill for that one boxcar, because that boxcar can go anywhere it wants to go. So what I might just say is, okay, like here's 6 here's 6 waybills. This area needs 6 boxcars. So grab, a stack of your cards, grab 6 boxcars, and here's your 6 waybills, put them together and go send them, go send them somewhere. I don't know. Oh, Modu Ops. I don't know Modu Ops. Now I'm going to look it up. MODUOPS. Modu Ops. Modu Ops version 5. Yeah, and oh, that's cool. It's they have a version for Mac and a version for Windows, which is kind of rare. But yeah, and that's it, right? I just want it to be a game. I want it to be somewhat random. I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be overly complicated. My layout's not very big. I just want it to be fun. So Derek says, railroads won't be able to keep track of their cars if you just pick 6 and send them. And I would argue that yes, that is true, but there is a system called wheel reports. And what wheel reports basically does is says this industry needs 6 boxcars, just send it 6 boxcars. And you document which 6 you send, and you tell the dispatcher or whoever, we are sending this 6 boxcars. So they keep track of it. They keep track of it not by telling you which 6 to send. They keep track of it by saying, send 6, and you tell them which 6 you sent. So if you have a waybill for Rick's toothpicks, it'll say something like new lathe parts, plus the waybill would say type of freight car it is for. If you have a waybill like corn syrup, it would say it needs to be matched with a food grade tank car, not the Exxon one. I guess what I don't know, Split Rock, is how do I assign a waybill to a boxcar? And how do I know? Part of what's great about JMRI is JMRI says this siding can take 4 boxcars and it will never send more than 4 boxcars to that siding. I don't know how to do that with car cards and waybills when it's just random, because you could end up sending more boxcars to a siding that can't then hold. Well, and this is it. And this is why I haven't gotten to the waybills part yet. I'm working on building the car cards, but I don't understand the waybill part. And yes, you are correct. I don't. And that's what's making it, I guess, so hard for me with operations is I don't know prototypical train movements. So I don't know how to use JMRI switch lists. I don't know how to use car cards and waybills. I don't know how to use, there are great tools out there. I'm aware of the really great tools. I just don't know how to utilize the tools because I don't know prototypical train operations. And that's why I started with JMRI. The JMRI system that I have works fine. It tracks the movement of the cars quite well. It tells you where to move them and stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's hard. So we need some people to do videos on explaining the system, because if you don't understand, then half the people here don't. There are tons of videos out there on car cards and waybills. It all revolves around you knowing prototypical train operations. One of the layouts that I operate on the DNS, you get a stack of cards, and that's your train. And the layout owner has pre-set up the stack of cards, and that's the, and that's the stack of cars you run. And he has waybills that are lined up that say, you know, when you pass this industry, drop stuff off. So part of why I used to just run trains in circles is because that's all I knew how to do. Why am I fighting something that, because JMRI is, so yes, JMRI can change the product in the cars 100%. So JMRI works, but it is unbelievably complicated, and not knowing prototypical operations, I don't know how to set up JMRI for my layout. That's the thing. Yeah, Split Rock, we'll absolutely. I guess it's very heavy on the input stage, but I've got a lot of stuff inputted in it, but not, you know, not enough. So that's part of it as well. I just noticed, so Lynn McCurdy's name, if you notice at the end of Lynn McCurdy's name, it's got the Riverside transfer logo at the end. So people that are members, that have been members for less than 2 years, have a Human City Junction logo in a color. But if you've been here for over 2 years now, which it looks like Lynn McCurdy's the first one to flip over, you now get the Riverside transfer logo. So I just noticed that. Yeah, Roy, I don't know. We'll have to look at your original date. I don't know why it hasn't flipped over yet, but it probably would. See, that's what I would do now. Take the set of cars and go to the yard, from the yard to the industries in reverse. And that's kind of what I'm planning on doing, is I'm just going to take a stack of cards and line the train up in staging and say, go take these to the yard. When you get to the yard, there's another set of waybills at the yard that say, you know, take these to these different industries, and just kind of go around in a sense. So Steve says, I think your problem is that you read all the rules to Monopoly before you play and have to understand them completely. It's a hobby and fun. Oh, I'm not, so don't think I'm not having fun. I mean, I'm having a great time. I'm having a lot of fun trying to figure this out. This is not, it's stressful, but it's not like not stressful, or it's like fun stressful. Yeah, like, see, Roy understands. Roy gets it. This is like, I get excited about this stuff. Like, trying to figure this out is exciting for me. It's not stressful for me at all. It's like when I spent 4.5 hours trying to get an ESP32 to work. You just kind of gotta like, you gotta kind of get into it and just like you just gotta keep, you know, slugging away at it until you can figure it out. And it's absolutely like learning a new game. The thing is that there are so many nuances to this game of operations. And not only am I playing the game, but I'm figuring out how the game is played, right? Like, this layout design was designed by myself and a bunch of people online. And now we're trying to figure out, okay, we've designed the board of the board game, and now we have to build the rules on top of it. So it's a lot of fun. One of the things that I haven't done yet, and I think part of why I'm struggling so much on this, is that the 2 layouts that I've been to, I've only been running road trains. I haven't been I'm sorry. I thought, Edward, that was very funny. Correct. And that's what I did. I got a bunch of stuff in JMRI, and it works, but it's it's not it's not quite set up the way I like the tactile cards better than I like the switch lists. And I think that's partially why I'm looking at the car cards, is because I like the tactileness of the car cards. I mean, you know, a piece of paper is all well and good, right? That's got your, you know, your list on it and stuff that you do. But I like the car cards. One of the things I was saying though is, so I've operated only on 2 layouts. But yeah, agreed. I've thought of this for years. Always felt everyone's designing their game. Exactly, William. Exactly. So what? I completely forgot what I was going to say. Where I was going. So it's Derek. It's not so much that I don't know how to set things up in JMRI. It's that I just don't know what I want to set up in JMRI. Like, if I know what I want to set up in JMRI, then I just set it up in JMRI. I just don't know. Oh, this is what I was going to say. The 2 layouts I've operated on, one was timetable and train order, and one was car cards and waybills. I guess both were car cards and waybills. One used timetables and train orders to tell the trains when to go. One had a dispatcher. Yes, I like the cards. I have never operated in a yard. I've only operated, oh yeah, we were going to do a Q&A, weren't we? I've only operated on the main line. So I don't really know how car cards work in a yard. And I think that that's maybe what's holding me back from really understanding, is that I think what I need to do is, the next time I operate, I need to ask, there's one yard that has a yard master, a drill number 1 and a drill number 2. And what I might need to do is ask if I can be drill number 2. Yeah, I just like touching stuff. So yeah, I think I just don't understand what a yard master or a drill or a hostler does. And I think that's where I'm getting stuck. And yes, so my layout, when I designed the layout didn't have the specific operations worked out, but it had a story. So now that I have a story, I need to figure out the rules to the game so that the movement of cars match the story. Derek, I've only been to 2 layouts, so I don't know that I know that answer. You think I should use a different color card for engines? Everyone else uses green. Well, that's why I use green. Green's for go, right? I mean, that's it. So the other thing is, the only 2 layouts that I operated on, one is Phil Monat, who was the editor of the OpSig compendium, and the other layout was Tony Costers. So that's the other problem, is I'm going to these layouts that are like, just like, their systems are so perfected that I don't get to kind of see the mess. I don't understand the mess, because they are the masters at this. They are the masters of this prototypical operations. So it's great that I have access to these guys, but I'm also like really new in the scene. So like, I'm still early. I'm still early in being able to ask them a lot of questions without becoming the annoying guy. So many yard masters have their own style. Some are very organized. Others are the Picassos of yard masters. That is true. I've seen that. I've seen that as well. Yeah, big trains come in, you make them smaller. Exactly. Chris says, would it be overkill to make a card into products and cards for cars? This way you pick up card A and drop them at B. Chris, I don't know how much you know about car cards and waybills. I think I understand what you're asking. The prototypical thing is that the car card is kind of an envelope. So it's got, it's got, a car card would have this information up top for, like, let's say a box car. And then the bottom of it would be like a folded up little envelope that you can stick stuff in. And what you stick into it is the waybill. And the waybill is what tells you what's in the car and where the car is going. So those waybills can be swapped in the envelope of the car card. So I don't know if that's, I don't know if that makes sense, doesn't make sense. Thank you, Mr. McToven, $5 to the Humanity Fund. Appreciate it. Time's run out for me, busy day tomorrow. Yeah, some people do have to go to sleep. So I do ask questions, but when you're the new guy and you're trying to get in to the group, you need to be respectful. You can't just be that guy that runs around and asks 600 questions. You got to learn a little bit. Well, yeah, Tom, it's almost like the clocks changed last night. Through operating, I've been learning a lot. And the more I keep operating, the more I'm learning. And the more I watch other people operate, the more I learn. So it's the questions will come, the time for questions will come. Right now, my experience is that I'm trying to take a leap on my layout that is beyond my experience or whatever. Go via and go home. The waybills have 4 sides or destinations on them, right? So you have, just as an example, if this was a waybill, you would have the top, you would have the bottom, and then you would have the backside top and the backside bottom that would all slide into this little packet so you could see the top of it, and then you could flip it around and you would see a different top of it. So, yep, exactly, Steve. You go to a club, you start off easy through the trains and passengers, then harder locals, and then finally the yard. Exactly. And that's what I'm, you made a contest that pulls 10 amps. Oof. So I'm jumping into the deep end because I'm trying to set up the operations game on my layout, but I just don't have the time on other people's layouts and on books I've read and on videos I've watched to 100% understand it. And I've talked too much about it. If people have questions, I said we were going to do a Q&A. It's 9:02 and 40 seconds. Let's do a little bit of a Q&A. So if people have some questions, please jump, please ask some questions. I'll try and catch them. Put a Q or put question or something at the front of it. It makes it a little easier for me to find things. But yeah. So William says, does the new guy that doesn't ask questions come across as a know-it-all? I ask a lot of questions, but I ask questions specific to the railroad. For example, one of the railroads that I operate on is, it's all CTC controlled. So there's all, everything is signals and interlocking and all that kind of stuff. So I'm asking questions about the layout. I'm not asking questions about what I should do on my layout. I'm asking questions about the layout that I'm operating on to learn more about that layout. I'm asking people what is their layout like or whatnot. So it's about, yeah, it's about that. It's painful. It's painful. What is a car card compared to a waybill? Now, as I understand it, Split Rock will correct me if I'm wrong. A car card is the physical piece of rolling stock. So it's this boxcar is a New York Central 40-foot boxcar. So it's the physical boxcar. The waybill is, this boxcar can contain pallets of flour or whatever. So it's what's inside it. And it tells you whether it's empty and where it's going and that kind of stuff. Yeah, Dave, exactly. Oh, right. You're in Arizona, so your time didn't change. Question, did you get the turnouts working where engines don't stall or jump the tracks? Sort of. Sort of. Yes, kind of. Sort of. For the time saver, I wouldn't really use waybills. For the time saver, what works pretty well is the that randomizer program that I have works pretty well. William, I don't know if you're talking to me. Oh, about asking questions. Was that your thing? Yeah. So I ask a lot of questions, but I'm not asking questions about me yet. And this is true as well. At an op session, I mean, yeah, the questions I ask the yard master is, can I enter the yard? Which track would you like me on? And then I kind of watch what they do. And sometimes they have times to explain what they're doing, but not all of the time. Oh, you're not, where are you? I thought you were still in Arizona. Question. When are you going to turn the lights on in the Abrams box? So if you don't know, the Abrams box and crate factory is, let's see if we can see it from here. Now you can kind of see it. It's this guy right here. This was made for me from Lynn McCurdy made this. It's a really cool little box factory. It says, "We make boxes fast. Blame Heath for the slow unboxing." And he built lights into it. So I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to put it on the layout yet. So I haven't drilled holes for it. William from Sue, the Milwaukee Road, says, I've always thought certain operators should identify themselves as the expert so you don't burden certain operators working. The dispatcher isn't the person to ask. Correct. Well, right. When you enter the yard, you're asking the yard master. Hopefully you know who the yard master is. One thing that I'm learning that's kind of fun, and I'm sure you guys have it out in Milwaukee as well, or St. Paul. Where are you guys? St. Paul, Minnesota? I can't remember. Wherever you guys are. There's an interesting group of characters. And I think that's part of the op sessions as well, is depending on who is doing what role can change the whole sort of operations session of the layout. So, yeah. Where are we at? If you do car cards and waybills, do the car cards have a pouch? Normally, if you buy traditional car cards, they would have a pouch on them. I'm just not 100% sure that is the way I'm going to go, which is why for now I'm just going to do it the cheap method, and I will just have the waybill. I don't know, maybe I'll cut some cards in half so the waybill's only the bottom or something. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do that, but yeah. Ray Bertelson, where do you get blue smoke candles for your cake? Asking for a friend. And then Steve87 says, building on Ray's question, does your cake have an Arduino? My cake didn't have any candles. We have a local cake place that I love. It is fantastic cake place. My girlfriend bought a cake from that place, and I have had way too much cake in the last couple of days. But we didn't do any. We didn't do that. Oh, you're now back home in Wisconsin, Dave. I didn't realize you were moving. My layout is not really automated. I have a motorman on the main line. So the main line can be automated, and it will just bounce a train back and forth. But outside of that, I am going to have some lighting stuff that's automated that I am working on. I've been building these light bars. This light bar is going to provide lighting on two sides, RGB lighting, so when the sun comes up, you'll see it come up on the one side than the other. I'm going to have this be somewhat automated with this, but I don't have that wired in yet. I keep going back. I keep going back and forth between working on the layout and working on the lighting and the scenery and the trackling and the switches and stuff with the operations scheme, and I kind of keep getting myself self-distracted a little bit. I don't know what's going on with Tom. He seems to be having an issue. Oh, there you go. Northwest suburb of Minneapolis. Yeah, so I'm sure you guys in Minneapolis have a crew of people, and the personalities are interesting as well. There you go. Paul says he prefers 8.5 by 11 switch lists because I feel important holding the clipboard. I will say I'm at Tony Custer's layout. First time at Tony's, and we got assigned a train that was already out on the main line from the last session. So I grabbed the car cards and I'm starting to look through the car cards, but I didn't take the clip off. So I was just sort of flipping them like this, and I wasn't securely holding them. The clip falls off, goes in one direction. The cards all fly off and go in another direction. This is my first 5 minutes operating at Tony Custer's layout. I did not feel... it went away. I didn't feel important, and I wouldn't have felt important at all. Does car cards and JMRI have all the lengths, including spurs? Car cards, I don't know how to put the track lengths on with car cards. I don't really know how that would work. Question, will Tuesday night be an extension of tonight? I don't know what I'm going to do Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday, if I'm lucky, I can get some of this lighting hooked up, because that would be awesome. I would love to get this lighting hooked up. I left snowy Milwaukee for tropical Pittsburgh. I've never heard anybody call Pittsburgh tropical. Yeah, I don't think Tom's had enough Doritos. That is probably true. I hear Split Rock is looking to sign a big sponsorship deal. If he's looking for money, it ain't coming from me. Although I'm wearing his shirt. Come on, I'm trying to help out. Thomas says you can use single-use car card waybill. Works great for modern industry that cars only go between 2 points. Oh, interesting. There you go. Let's see. Questions. Take care, Sparky. Sparky's leaving. It's Tony's Don't You Work in Pairs? Address your questions to your partner. I'm sure he would explain it. And I did. Whenever you go to an operating session, at least in this area, at least all of the ones that I've experienced so far, I've been assigned to an experienced operator. And I do ask questions to the operator, but they're specific to the layout. Like I would take the I would take the timetable, right, and I would look through the timetable, and I would go, okay, like, here's what I'm seeing on the timetable. Like, is this correct? Am I reading this correctly? Does this make sense? Is this how you would do it? So I'm asking as well about that. So Split Rock's asking about train orders. So a train order, this is a clearance form A. I have no orders for your train. A train order, as I understand it, would be that you're going to meet other trains out on the layout that the dispatcher has changed. You take your train out, and you've got like 5 cars that you're going to drop somewhere or whatever or whatnot, but then the dispatcher calls in and says, okay, instead of those 5 cars, you're only going to leave 3. So you would get a train order from one of the, I forget what they're called now. The guys that sit in the huts and take all the orders. So you would get a train order that basically changes, at least that's my understanding. Somebody could probably explain it better to me. I think you lost internet. I hope it was you. I think I'm still on. Are you planning to move and build a new layout? I wish. I'm not planning it right now. Tony, check out this first impression. Yeah, exactly. Essentially, as a guest, or at least the way I do it as a guest, this might not be correct, but the way I do it as a guest is I make sure that at the end of the session, the layout owner hasn't said my name like 20 times already because I've done something wrong. That's what I'm hoping. Yes, Bernard, you're late, but that's okay. Nobody's ever late. Don't feel Okay, question. Does your layout include more defect detector? I have not added defect detectors, but I'm thinking about it. I can make a very simple one with a MP3 module and downloading some defect detector sounds. So I'm thinking about it. Yeah, there's a guy, I was told don't be like this guy. And I don't know that the guy got a nickname, but everybody was talking about the guy. So, question, since you prefer the car card, do you prefer the additional note cards with instructions? We found certain people don't read them. Filmonaut's layout, the locomotive, so on the, when you get a stack of cards at Phil's layout, on the front of it is a note card that summarizes your whole sort of flow of the train. The engine card is actually on the back. So you would flip it over to see your engine card and look at your engine address. And then all of the cards in the middle would be all of your car cards and waybills. So yes, I do find the note cards helpful, especially for me because first time operator. So yes, I haven't found one yet. If you find one, let me know. There's a lot of them out there. There are a lot of videos out there. I think a little bit is just, you know, what you prefer. Tactile, what tactile? What did the guy do? So timetable and train order, you don't leave the yard until the time that you're allowed to leave the yard. And then if you are not the, I forget what they call it, but certain trains have priority over others. If you are not the priority train, you get off the main yard or main line if another train might be coming through. So apparently this guy just left the yard whenever. And my understanding is it wasn't so much that he just left the yard whenever. It was my understanding a little bit more about how he responded when he was called out on it, but I don't know. Yeah, it's I feel extremely lucky that I've been able to operate at Phil's layout and at Tony's layout, because these guys are the masters at it, in my opinion. Some of the masters at prototypical operations. And I feel very, very fortunate that I've been able to operate on it. Yeah, you guys should, it would be great to do videos on the operation schemes of all of the railroads in your area, like your operations circle of railroads. Like, talk about all the different methodologies and stuff. My first op session at Phil's, we did have 2 locomotives collide, which I told people about. At Tony's, I threw the car cards all over the floor and had to resort them. So yeah. Yeah, getting enough information, at Phil's, it wasn't so much that people wouldn't read the information, it's about getting enough information on the card that kind of makes sense. So, how did the guy leave the yard? Who controls the turnouts in the yard? So, timetable and train order, you'll say, okay, at 9 o'clock, this train's supposed to leave the yard. It's the next train out. So, you know, if there's no other trains leaving, you'll just go, you know, the yard master will just set the turnouts. So let's say you set the turnouts at 7 o'clock for the 9 o'clock train. That doesn't mean that the guy can leave the yard. It just means that everything is set so that at his time, he can leave. And yeah, exactly. Exactly. I got in trouble. I swear I got a green light. I swear I did. My signal turned green. I know it turned green. I went through the signal and kept going, and the dispatcher said, I never gave you a green signal. I swear it was green. What am I going to do? Argue with the dispatcher? I mean, that's, you know, I mean, it's, I don't know. Tab on car is interesting too. I started looking into the tab on car stuff just because I found having a switch list was very difficult. When I'm holding a switch list and there's just a bunch of numbers on them and a bunch of trains, I found it very hard to organize stuff. That's another reason I like the car cards, is you can kind of like lay them out and kind of, you know, get a sense or kind of figure things out a little bit. Check the replay. Uh-oh. What did I miss? I must have missed something. Tom says, good question. I forget what that was about. Good videos. There's a bunch out there. I'm not sure. The thing about like finding a video is you have to find a video. You have to find a video that matches what you're trying to do and matches the story you're trying to tell. And no video is going to exactly match the story you're trying to tell, because they're trying to tell the video that they're telling. Yeah, I know, right? John never argued with this right. I was like, are you sure it wasn't green? I think it was green. But yeah, so William says, do you find color-coded systems help or turn into sorting M&Ms? I like color-coded stuff, but then again, I'm not colorblind. I've operated with a couple people that are colorblind, and they say the colors don't help them at all. I do like what Split Rock was talking about, where, you know, instead of using like a different color for each area to just make, I could just make a stripe on the card, which would definitely be easier to like print the color out. So yeah, I think colors help. What I did with the tab on car is I don't know if you've seen this, William, but what I've done is I've made these little I-beam things that sit on my box cars and have the number in them. And that's because you can't see the number on the side of an N-scale car as well. So what I did is if I found the 5 cars that I knew needed to be pulled out of the yard, I would put the same colored tab in those, you know, in this slot on these little things on top of the box cars. So then I ended up with 5 box cars with the same color tabs on them. And it would make it easier for me to move stuff around the yard. I don't know how well that would work in like a big yard, but for what I was dealing with, it worked. It worked pretty much. Yeah, right. It's like chalking a car. Exactly. Yep. It's like having. Yes. I actually know what chalking a car is. I don't know where I learned that, but I learned that somewhere. Ken N says, timetable and train order switches are handled by crews. CTC dispatcher controls signals and switches on the main. Heath needs a body cam. Yeah, so the other problem that I have with the layout is sometimes I'm not sure which signal's for what. So yeah, take a photo of it. Take a photo before I move forward. Everyone would be like, what in the world are you taking photos of? I don't know what conversation is. Oh, I like M&Ms. So apparently Split Rock is eating his colored car cards. Yeah, people are saying I should take a picture of it. Oh, Split Rock. No, no, don't even go there. Don't even go there. But yeah. Any more questions? I mean, we don't have to ask questions about op sessions. We can ask questions about anything. Anything I'm trying to do on the layout. Anything I'm trying to... about Manhattan modelers. You can ask me about the NMRA. I'm doing some stuff with NERX coming up. I don't know. It's interesting how much there is to learn in this hobby. And while I do feel I'm getting a little distracted sometimes, I do also feel like, you know, it's fun. For me, it's fun. You know, I'm learning as I go. And that's fun for me. So yeah. Paul Scott says a switch list works for me because I have a branch line and only one train runs on it at a time, and I'm the operator. There you go. And since I only have one town so far, all I need is a list for incoming and outgoing cars in those locations. Yeah, and I can totally see that. That makes a lot of sense. Did you ever do anything with the cameras I sent you? Do I have to answer that? Why would you start over with your layout? What do you want to do differently? There's some things I would change with the yard. I don't have a lot of great space to sort cars on the yard, although maybe I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. But what I think I would do differently is I would eliminate one of the industry areas and make the yard bigger. I think. I'm not sure. The O-gauge stuff's up there. It's up around the top. You can see it here. You can see it over there. That's the O-gauge right there. It's not running this minute. I have not bought a G-gauge GG1 yet. Frog juicers are working. Yes, they eliminate the stalling on my Atlas ESU locomotives. They haven't eliminated the stalling on my BLI locomotives, which lead me to believe, you know where I'm going. I'll just ignore the question. It's my stream. What's Tony like? My first operation sessions with Tony was not the first time I've met Tony. I had met Tony virtually when the Pacific Coast region was doing their convention, and they were doing it over Zoom, and I met Tony recording his sessions. Tony is an unbelievably nice guy. So much passion for the hobby. It was great. It was good. It was good. I believe he's 80 now, if I'm not mistaken. He's working on his next book. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but it was great. It was really good meeting him. So the ceiling is 11 feet. So this room, I find this kind of amusing. This way is 8 feet. This way is 9 feet. And this way is 11 feet. So it's taller than it is wide. Yeah, exactly. The yard is never big enough. What I did decide, and I'm pretty happy with it, my trains leaving the staging area are going to have 8 boxcars on them. And 8 boxcars is probably too many for my industrial areas, but it's a good number for the peninsula and for the yard. So I think the plan would be is 8 cars come out of there to the yard or the car float area, and then get sorted, and then smaller trains take cars out to the industries. That's the way to do it. Unbelievably down to earth. Tony Custer's unbelievably down to earth, and very. I don't know why, but I was very shocked. The guy emails a lot. The guy emails all the time. This all sounds too. The good layout owners will pair you up with somebody that is good on their layout and that will train you what to do. So I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would focus on going and just learning as much as you can. Yes, a hot dog's still a sandwich. I'm reading some of these questions. I'm so confused. John says, my space is 50 by 24, but the layout is only 32 by 13. And that's great. I mean, I know a guy named Thomas Splitrock that has a layout that he feels is a good size for him. There's a fantastic book out called The Right Size Layout by Tom Klomoski, which talks exactly about that, about, having the right amount of space for, the story that you're trying to tell. And I mean, that's something that's new to me. I mean, other people say it, right? I mean, other people talk about it all the time, like, oh, I want to, design my layout around this scheme or whatever. But until you really get the idea of, oh, I'm trying to tell a story, and my ops session is a telling of that story, it's hard to. When you get that, your whole layout changes. Everything changes once you decide what story you want to tell. I'm convinced of that. Had to leave space for kids. You're the kid, John. Come on. I know, right? I want some M&Ms too. Roy's in the process of adding a little bit more bench work. There you go. You never have too little or too big. It's always just right. Ken says, I participated in ops about 2.5 years before the showstopper. I still felt intimidated. It is nerve-wracking a little bit, but, I don't know who Luke Lemons is. You guys mention Luke Lemons all the time. I don't know who Luke Lemons is. I want to know. You guys need to do a whole video about who Luke Lemons is. Oh no. We're getting ready to take it down. We're going to sell the house. Well, there you go. There you go. Why was it named a hot dog? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. That's a good question. Sulai Modeler out of Green Bay. Yeah, I know you guys talk about him a lot. I know he's been a mentor to a lot of the people in the area. Maybe, I mean, it'd be great. Was he on the Crossing Gate podcast, or was he on the Twin Cities Division YouTube channel at all, being interviewed? Because I think that would make a great conversation. Actually, I don't know. I'm assuming he's still with us. I don't know the answer, though, to that. So, yeah. Are you building a house, or are you just building a basement? And if you're just building a basement, why not put a shed outside? Yeah, what I'm learning too is if you want to get invited to op sessions, just be a good person. Oh, Luke has been on the Crossing Gate a few times. I'll have to go back and find that. Keith, pick on the Discord. Oh, I see it says happy birthday. It must be somewhere else. Model Railroad. Oh, there you go. There you are. You're making it bigger. You're going to become a carpenter yet, Roy. You'll be a carpenter yet. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. As a published writer, I find telling the story is the most important and lots of fun. I find myself writing too long of captions for photos I post. Making up involved stories. But that's fun. I kind of like that. I mean, captions need to, like, match the picture, but, yeah. Derek, that is all up to you. That is all up to you. Oh, Roy's getting some help on the carpentry. I know you're not a fan of carpentry, Roy. I know that. Oh, just the basement, because you're in, yeah. That's true. You can move, Container Man. Move somewhere that doesn't have tornadoes. Find someone who's doing CTC. Just follow the signals. Least stressful. Timetable and train order on the main line can be stressful, especially when you're using a fast clock that is moving faster than regular time. So, like, one of the things that I figured out was that, like, I'd look at the clock and I'd be like, oh, I have 20 minutes to get from where I'm at to where I'm going, and it'll only take me about 5 minutes to get there. Well, what I don't realize is that fast clock is like 4 times regular speed. So my 6 minutes to get there is, 5 minutes in fast clock time. And, like, doing that math was, people are probably communicating. I want a router so badly, but yes, routers are scary. Routers are definitely can be scary. Yeah, 3-to-1 fast clocks. It's kind of when the fast clock is a different time, it's you gotta kind of make it work. But it's 9:36 my time. I think it's time for me to wrap this up and clean up and get ready for the week of work. But if anybody has some operation ideas for my layout, I'm happy to listen to them. I do have very specific ideas about what I want, but that's just, that's everybody, right? Everybody's kind of like that. So, it's happening. Things are moving forward. We're having fun. So we're making it happen. From the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.